Welcome. This is Leading with Spirit, the show that gives you an in-depth look at topics like what it takes to navigate your spiritual journey, how to heal yourself and grow your spiritual gifts, and balanced practices to expand your business and your spiritual leadership. I'm your host, Spirit Bird, shamanic teacher, healer, and author, here to guide you on your journey to becoming your most potent spiritual leader. Hello and welcome. Thanks so much for joining us today. I have special guest Ryan Liwanu Parker with us today. He's a shamanic life coach, a Reiki master, a breathwork facilitator, and he aims to bring the people back to truth, to their truth within, and their duty to the earth. Ryan Liwanu, welcome.
Hey, Oki, Sanatapi, everyone. It is so exciting to be a part of this and to share my message with you guys. It's truly an honor, guys.
I'm so excited. I reached out because we got connected via Instagram a while back, and I just loved what you hold and what you carry, and was genuinely curious to learn more about you and connect. So I'd love to actually hear, you mentioned your birth name is Ryant, but Liwanu is your spirit name. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, so Liwanu is an indigenous word for the growl of the bear. And for those of you that do not know, I am heavy bear energy. Like just the essence about me. People always tell me that I give the bear hug, like I just give this warmth, this grizzly feeling about me, right? And the bear has always been around with me since I was a child as well. I've always seen the bear in my dreams. And one day, this was, I would say, it was after graduation. And during that time period, graduation, a lot of things was changing for me. So it was after graduation back in 2013, I had a dream at a visitation from the grizzly bear, and she spoke to me and like called me Liwanu, and the growl of the bear, because I am someone that makes noise where there is silence present. I like to change the foundation of things. If there's silence somewhere where there's like injustice or something, most definitely being an Afro-Indigenous person, if I see injustice on anyone, person of color, and just anyone in general, I will speak up about that. That's who I am. And so once I was given that name from that bear in the dream, um, I didn't think anything of it at first. I was like, oh, wow, cool. I'm talking bear in my dream, and this was before I like started, the huge endeavor in my spiritual journey. And so fast forward a couple of years after that, and she came back again and she called me by that. And she was like, it's important that you understand what this name means, not just to you, but, I forgot how she put it, but it was just like, it's just importance for lack of better word. It was very important that you, walk with this name. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna take this seriously, because there's no way that, I had the dream the first time. And then she comes back and tells me all of this. I'm like, oh wow, okay, all right, this is clearly more than just a fever dream or something. So once I started taking that name seriously, that's when everything like started to flood on in for me, reconnecting with my indigenous and, well, there's African is indigenous too, but with my native and African roots. Um, Going forward into Reiki, practicing shamanism, all this other stuff. And it was that right there just like paved the way for a whole bunch of other stuff. And finally, it didn't hit like home to me until I mentioned it. I was at a gathering, and it was talking about Reiki, but it wasn't, like people were doing Reiki. It was just talking about Reiki, group gathering and stuff like that. And I introduced myself, and, just giving it a shot for the first time, saying it out loud that, hey, my name is Liwanu, aka Ryan Parker. And when someone called me that out loud to me the first time, that's when it like hit. And I felt like this like surge of energy go through me. And I'm like, wow, okay. And it just felt like I just connected with that bear energy in a whole different way than I'm used to feeling, you know? So, but just keep it short on that part. That's where Liwanu comes from and how, you know, it was given to me and how important it is for me to walk in that name. So,
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I'm going to share a little bit. My given name is Katie Joe, but I've taken Spirit Bird, and I had a kind of it didn't come through a dream, but it similarly, I had Spirit kind of knocking on my shoulder when I was supposed to introduce myself, and Spirit was like, "Say Spirit Bird, say Spirit Bird." Actually, it was a little bit more like a pushier. It was like, say it. And,
I am. That's how it was.
and I was in a group gathering. It wasn't, it wouldn't be weird. I didn't think about it much. I just said it. And I remember when first time I said it out loud, it just really landed.
Yeah.
And then I went through a good year and a half journey with it, where the backstory is I was like, I'm never going to be one of those people that does that. I'm never going to take on a different name. Definitely a lot of like judgment around it. My friend says, you carry, what'd she say? She says, you carry a snake around like that for long enough, it'll bite you. And so it was like, yep, here's the new name. And there's a lot of places when I look back, I think of like one of my closest friends called me Bird Girl. I got Katie Bird was a nickname. There were a lot of like bird references when I was little.
Oh, okay.
And when I finally like actually took it in and owned it and, learned who and what that is, and then made that next step where I actually shared that and introduced myself that way and referred to myself that way, and not just in certain places, but everywhere most of the time. I was actually at an event last year, same thing, introducing myself as Spirit Bird. And I met this woman and she said, she says, I have something I want to share with you, but not right now because I'm going to cry. And I was like, oh, okay. I don't know what she's going to share. And later she found me and she had shared that I think she had lost a daughter early on, and that she was doing a meditation a few years ago. And during the meditation, she got this message that someday someday your daughter will return to you like a spirit bird and you'll know that she was okay. And so like that was the moment for me where that was a huge piece for her, because she didn't know what that meant. It was just some random message. Not that I'm her daughter, but that I showed up and I introduced myself using that name.
Spirit Bird. Yeah.
Gave her this piece and also gave me the teaching. It's not really about me.
Hey, still that connection though, right there, that just gave me chills down my back, and it's just like, okay, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So tell me a little bit more about your opening to the healing work and the shamanic work. How did that come to your life?
Man, this is an interesting one. Like officially, I started getting serious about this in 2019, but when you have a calling for this type of stuff, you were born, with this. Like I've heard stories, my mom told me things, my dad told me things, my grandma told me things of like when I was a kid of how I was just, different in a way. There was this one time where, there was this lady apparently, I don't know her name, but apparently she was a friend of the family. And, apparently she never held a kid before, right? And my mom told me that I was just like, and I think I was like 1, 2 years old, they said. And I just was just looking at her and she was crying. She was nervous and stuff like that. And I think she lost a kid herself or something along the lines or whatever. And I'm just there in her arms, apparently, and just watching her cry. And apparently, I put my hand on her face, my little old tiny hand. I don't got little hands now, but my little old hand on her face. And it's just like, from what I was told, they told me that, she just felt different, like it was just like this baby's doing something to me, and stuff like that. And growing up hearing stuff like that, I didn't think anything of it until, I went through my own personal journey. Fast forward all the way to 2019, and I put all the clues together. It's just like, wow, okay. So apparently I didn't put it together like maybe I was doing Reiki on her as a baby, you know, or something like that. But it was stuff like that where it's just like, wow, okay, I'm seeing the type of person that I am from a kid to a teenager to an adult. And maybe it's time for me to kick it up a notch, you know? And so I truly invested into it. I studied in Reiki, became a Reiki master, or walking the journey of a Reiki master. Um, Once those doors were, you know, opened, then working with, you know, my ancestors came through. And then once that came through, how to heal ancestral trauma. I like to call it AIT, ancestral inherited trauma. And the thing about that is that a lot of people don't believe in that. And it's like, I mean, it's no different. It doesn't matter how you word it. You know, it's a cycle, you know, it's like it's passed down through generation to generation. So you can call it ancestral inherited trauma. You can call it energetic karma. You can call it whatever, you know, but it's interesting how people, you know, get to that, but I'll get on to that later. And then breathwork came along with that. And then put it together. I became a life coach. And practicing shamanism as well. And so I put the two together. I was like, well, I mean, I'm a life coach. What I do for people, I might as well become a shamanic life coach, help people navigate through specific things that are blocking them in life, or how to help them see things in a different way to help them, you know, just to be the hollow bone for the people and stuff. So it's so much that go into it on how I got into it. You know, it depends on where you want to start with me, you know, from the beginning, since I was a kid, or since 2019. And yeah, I can I can go on about it. It'd be more than how long we're doing for this podcast, but
Hmm. I'm curious, was there because I love tracking this piece of where especially the interest in shamanism or the shamanic path opens up for people, and especially for people that really are stepping into the role of the healer.
yeah,
I noticed that for some people it tends to be, you know, like a big awakening, like a big initiation, something happens in life and boom, you know,
yeah,
you can't not do this. And for other people, I notice it's like a slow trickle where there's sort of like guides throughout their life. And then
hmm
it kind of just slowly builds. And then sometimes it's a combination where you keep getting those signs and you keep turning away. And then life's like, okay, you
yep.
know?
I'm gonna throw it all at you.
Yeah. Was there something going on in your life when you started to kind of get curious about this part of you? Do you remember?
uh, um, so like I talked with you about before, the reason why I'm back home is because I'm healing some inner child, you know, trauma and stuff like that. Like nothing like on the physical level, but a lot of emotional stuff, which is just as equivalent as that, you know. Um, a lot of that has to do with walking into the path of shamanism to be the hollow bone and stuff, you know. Part of me understands, you know, why it had to happen and stuff like that, you know. But the other half of me, you know, it's just I was a child, you know, it's just like, why did I have to go through some stuff like that, you know? And then having to grow up, and I like to call it the perfect balance. Like, yes, I experienced a good childhood, but at the same time, I had to grow up in certain areas where it's just like a child shouldn't have to grow up in so fast. Um, and so I had to be that person for my friends, you know, around that age group. You know, it's just like everyone always told me, it was just like, oh wow, you seem older than what you look, your actual age and stuff like that, you know. So I took it upon myself. And once I got that knock, you know, it was just like, yo, this is your calling. This is what you need to do. And so it showed me, once I actually opened that door and everything just flooded on in for me, it showed me why it was calling for me. Is because there's a lot of kids, teens, adults, you know, that went through the similar situation or worse, that didn't have anyone. And so with the energy that I carry, you know, people call me the magnet. You know, a lot of spirits, souls, lost souls, or whatever, just like attract to me. You know, and so it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna use this, you know, in the best way that I can, you know, in a proper way, in a safe way. That's through shamanism, being that hollow bone for the people, and not just for the people, but the land as well. And yeah, I don't know what it is right now, but I'm feeling something that's just like, you ever get that feeling? You just, there's something that's trying to be said, and you just need to focus on it a little bit more. So I don't know what that is, but I think something is like trying to be said through this message here. But continuing on with that, that's what started for me. You know, it's just like my whole journey itself was the reason that shamanism was knocking at the door for me. And I'm still growing. I'm still learning on the reasons why too. So it could be so much more, but to this current state and my understanding, that's what brought it on in for me. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit more. So you definitely have a strong earth connection, and that's something that you care about a lot. Can you
Mhm.
share, yeah, your
I've,
message?
yeah. I've always been a kid that just like to be outside. You know, my mom told me stories like she had to like grab me before I run outside. I would run outside naked or something like that. Be like, yo, you're not dressing me fast enough. I'm ready to be outside, you know, and stuff. And I think I'm still learning this myself. It was I really can't give a solid answer to that. I can just tell you how I just feel when I'm outside. It's just that I hear her, you know. The drum, it whenever music would play and there would be like a heavy like drum bass sound, I feel it in my heart space. Um, my soul is just like dancing. And that's what I feel when I'm barefooted on the earth, you know, and that's what I feel when I'm in the woods, you know, in the mountains or just in the ocean or whatever. I feel that specific beat and it just makes me dance. And I don't truly understand that connection. I just accept it. So when I talk about the earth, and healing it, it's just like, I'm hearing her like a reflection of myself, you know? So like, obviously I feel my heartbeat, but I feel her heartbeat, but her heartbeat is my heartbeat. My heartbeat is her heartbeat, you know? So everything that is happening on the earth, I feel it. It's just such a, like, sometimes I would just catch myself just like out there, just like crying, you know? And I'm like, where is this coming from? You know, it's just like, I mean, obviously this is perfect for me to, you know, release whatever it is I'm holding on to, but I'm also feeling something else, you know, and it could be like the tree, like right behind me or something, you know, or the animal, like right down the street, or just like something, you know, I'm feeling the water, I'm feeling like the poisons in the water, and I'm like, you know, releasing it or something like that. And that's the best way that I could put that when with my connection with the earth. It's always been like that. And I'm still learning on what that connection actually means. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting hearing you describe that because I definitely relate, but it also makes me think of kind of the way a lot of sensitive or attuned people will pick up on other people's emotions, right? And not realize that they're not theirs. But it's interesting to have that perspective with the earth too. And it just makes me curious. I don't really have a specific question, but it makes me curious to what extent, like a place that I've been watching is kind of that place with spirit and me too, where
mm,
like sometimes I can't tell where I end and spirit begins.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And recently, um, a friend was over and she helped me with a seeing around like kind of that sovereignty piece where it's
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, well, when you actually can separate from spirit and be your own thing, that allows you to actually go in and see spirit. And when you're
Yeah.
merged with it and you can't tell the difference, you can't actually see it. But
Yeah.
if you can have your own kind of independence, then you can actually have that meeting point and that connection. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, 100% on that one. And I feel like that's what it is for me when I'm out there. Like, and it doesn't even have to be like somewhere like secluded, like in the mountains or anything like that. I could just go right out my door here and instantly feel it. It's like that connection point. You know, the place that I'm staying at is just the four walls. You know, of course, I can still connect while I'm in these four walls, but it's like that portal. You know, it's just like, all right, that's my connecting point with, you know, spirit and what I'm feeling of the earth, and you know, and it's instant. It's crazy.
Do you do much work or have you done work with helping people find that for themselves too?
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
in many different ways. My main goal is to get people to understand that healing of yourself is also healing of the earth. You know, it's a reflection. Like I mentioned, my heart space is her heart space. Her heart space is my heart space. So we're all in unison together. We're two different physical entities, but we all share the same source, you know? And it's like the puzzle piece, you know, the puzzle piece saying, it's just like, yes, we're individual puzzle pieces, but we all make the same big picture, you know? And I like to help people um, gain that understanding, you know. And of course, they have their own journey. Like I said, they're their own puzzle piece. So it like branches out in different directions depending on what they are needing and what, you know, their spirit are, you know, calling, what they need to heal from or what they need to understand or really tap into their higher self, you know. Um, so yeah, that's
Mhm.
the best way I could put it on that one.
Yeah. When you started sharing your learnings and your work more openly, was there any bumpiness there for you, or did that feel like a pretty clear pathway?
Um, it was definitely bumpy. Um, being in certain areas. Now, I'm going to say this, and I don't want it to come out in a judgmental way whatsoever. Everyone that's listening to this, I 100% love everyone and accept everyone's journey and every path for whatever pace that they are going through. But for my personal experience coming into this, um, and I'm, yes, being someone that is of indigenous, African and native descent, you know, I got people from that side judging me for doing Reiki. I got people that will look at me as just like, you didn't really truly go through the shaman practice and all this other stuff. And it's like, at the end of the day, I put in the work. I
Mhm.
studied. I did go through training. I did go through the necessary things that, you know, obviously you need to go through to understand, to be a Reiki master, to be someone that's practicing shamanism, to be a life coach and stuff like this. But those specific people in specific fields have made it kind of rough for me in ways. And obviously it didn't stop me. I'm still doing it. And that just makes my message even more um, powerful. It's just like, yo, listen, like it doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter where you come from. You know, it doesn't matter your skin color or whatever. It doesn't matter if you put in the work, if you understand your duty towards what you are going for, you know, you can do it. You are helping the people. So why does it matter what who I practice from or what I look like, you know? So, but other than that, that's the only roadblocks that I had, other than spiritual, you know, stuff. Being so in tuned, and hold on, excuse me, real quick.
Mhm.
Yeah, being in tune. I had dreams of spiritual. Well, I'm not even going to say it like that, but it was just like I had demonic dreams, you know, and they would attack me in my dreams. Someone even attacked me through my dreams physically, and this was when I was a teenager. And they were always telling me the same thing. It was just like, we want you, we want you gone. We want you gone. That's all they would say. And I never understood. I'm like, what am I doing? What am I doing to make these guys mad? Like, why? What is it? And then now, as I'm older and walking the path, I understand it now. And it's just like, okay, wow, you're not going to scare me. You know, I'm already dealing with this in the physical realm. Now I got to deal with this and, spirit realm. No, it doesn't matter. I'm still going to keep on doing what I'm doing, because it's my calling, and, this is what I came here to do. So
That's Liwanu, huh?
yeah, shake the foundation.
I see. I'm getting it. Yeah. What do you think? Was there anything like that helped you really stick to that for yourself? Was that like was
Elaborate
that
on that.
Seeing some of the roadblocks or skeptics or haters or whatever you might call them, uh, what helped you know how to still just come back to yourself and follow your path?
Um, it's always been in me. Like I said, this goes back to my childhood. I was bullied, growing up, for whatever reason. But this is funny here. I didn't have the physical influence, but I did have Power Rangers. I did have Superman and stuff like that. And the message that they gave out was just like, never give up on yourself, and always fight for what's right. And so even when I was bullied, I carried that message growing up. It was just like, never give up on yourself, always stand up for what's right, because I've seen a lot of people who have been bullied, who then, how can I put this, where their foundation pretty much just like went to shambles and just crumbled to dust, and they just gave up there. And it's like, do you understand though? It's just like, this is also a test for you, for your strength. Like, yes, it sucks that you were bullied. Yes, it sucks that this specific thing happened into your life, but this is also a lesson. Like, you come out stronger. It's the Phoenix theory, it's just like, you must burn to emerge, So whenever you're at your lowest, whenever, someone is bullying you, obviously that's a reflection of them, but it makes your life all shaky and stuff like that, because you start questioning yourself. It's just like, no, they see something in you that you don't, that's why they are bullying you, or the reason why something like this, or, your whole foundation just like was destroyed, is because maybe the old ways of things is not working for you for what you are calling in, so now you got to start from the ground up and build yourself up. So for me, that was pretty much it. I had that message, thanks to the Power Rangers and Superman and all that. I had that, growing up. It was just like, okay, I can't give up. I see my gifts what's inside of me. People are telling me that they see this inside of me. Now it's time for me to fully see what I see in myself, and to never give up on it, and to be a positive example for those that do give up, so they can change their mind and be like, yo, wait a minute. Okay, I gave up and things just got steady flow, and I got a little bit comfortable. Yes, things suck, but it's like, maybe if I do step up and, become my greatest self, things will be better. And that's the message that I want to send to people. And if I give up on that, then it's kind of like, of course, there's other thousands of people out there that's doing the same thing what I'm doing, like yourself here. But just for me here, if I give up on that, then it's like, the people that are in my field, in my life, they most likely won't have someone to, motivate them,
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, I'll add, well, definitely what landed for me while you're sharing is really just that like full commitment to you can call it self-realization, fulfillment, but just that commitment to being that highest version of yourself.
Yeah.
And it's helpful for me even because I'm definitely on my path. I definitely, am in the right place and am in a spot where I feel like things that I had been dreaming about and seeing is happening. And I also still have moments that I'm like, fuck, I just want to quit. I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely, oh man, it's something. And I'm pretty sure whoever is listening to this, they understand what that something is, it can be like that at times. But the best thing I can say with this is just Just take a pause. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. It's okay to take a pause, obviously, for your mental health, for your spiritual health, and stuff like that. Take a pause and reevaluate and even let go of some things that are, dragging you to that point of wanting to give up. And just be you for the moment or however long that you need to be yourself. Like I mentioned earlier, it was your your business or whatever you do is a reflection of yourself. So it's two sides of one coin. The one coin is the mission. The other side is, Reiki Master or your business or whatever like that or whatever it is. And then the other side is you. So if one side is kind of flopping there, then it's okay. It's okay to just pause, just work on yourself. And it's like a Lego, take out the piece that, that's affecting it, that doesn't look right, and then put it back in, but just don't ever give up on the masterpiece or the mission that is your calling, basically. So.
Yeah. Beautiful. So you talked a little bit about your earth connection, but I know you share a lot about our duty. Can you share a little bit more about what that means to you, what that looks like?
So our duty there's no words for it. It is just something that you feel within everything within yourself. You feel it in your heart space. You feel it, with your true self, your spirit. And in this day and age, and man, I honestly don't know where to really begin with, this specific duty, because when you explain it to someone, it's different for everyone. There are water warriors, there are land warriors, there are people that protect the air, there are people that protect all of it, there are people that protect the people of the land, and stuff like that. And we have been conditioned to ignore all of that, so much so that we ignore everything within ourselves. And now it's becoming a journey to get back to that, when our ancient ancestors understood it was just like, this is your birthright. You are born here to live, to grow, to laugh, to love, but you are also here to be the guardian of the earth. This is your home. These four walls are your home, but this whole entire planet is your home, because if the earth is not here, then the four walls aren't here. And another thing too is that with us being conditioned to ignore all this, we naturally ignore everything about ourselves. This is why so many people are out here having issues, per se, and when really it's just the lack of understanding of the specific healing or who they are as a person. One of them is being, they don't know who they are. So they don't know who they are. They don't know where to begin to, heal from the ancestral trauma, or, tap into their community and stuff like that. And that's a ripple effect that spreads all the way to the earth. For example, I am Blackfoot Siksika. And, it doesn't matter if you are native to the land or whatever, whatever. We're humans. We all have this in our DNA to really protect the earth, but if you don't know that, if you're just in concrete jungle, that's all So going into that, people that don't know who they are, they don't know their duty to the earth, and that's just plain and simple as how it is. So when you heal within yourself, you start to understand, it's just like, wow, I'm cleaning out everything that's within inside of me. Look what I have done to the earth. The reason why people litter is because they litter within their own space. They throw all this negative energy, and keep it there, and it's so piled up. So therefore, that's a reflection of their actions, of what they do to the earth. And so when I help people go through that specific healing, and it's either me guiding them to that, or they naturally go through it. And when they naturally go through it, this shows me is like that it ties in together. It's once you heal yourself, once you go through that journey, once you understand where you come from, once you go through that ancestral inherited trauma, once you get rid, or not get rid, because this is a part of our reality now, but once you step out of that concrete jungle, you will start to see like, wow, I'm meant to be out here farming, I'm meant to be out here catering to the animals out here. I'm meant to be letting them, run free, not keeping them in captivity, or owning them as pets or anything like that. I'm meant to honor them as they meant to respect, like mutual respect. And it just comes in full circle once you understand the true, oh man, I'm losing words here, but once you understand that true meaning of self, then you will start to understand the true meaning of why you are here. Because when people start to ask the question, why are we here? What's the point of life? It's just like, this is it. That is why we are here. Yes, the earth would be probably so much better without us, but there's a reason why we are here on this earth, because the earth specifically needs us for a specific duty. We are the voice of the multiple different organisms that are out here that don't have a voice. We are capable. We are so highly involved because we are meant to protect those that can't protect themselves. From what? Who knows? But this is why we are specifically here. We're meant to be in union, not this pyramid chain of humans. You've seen that image, and it talks about it in shamanism as well. Where there's a pyramid of the food chain where humans are up top, and then there's animals, and then this blah blah blah. But it's meant to be the circle of unity, where everyone is like as equal as possible. There is no food chain and stuff. We are meant to be in that wheel of in unity to all. So going into that, healing yourself is healing the earth. And it shows your specific duty and your calling for that. What that looks like for you is whatever it is calling specifically for you. Like I said, you could be a water protector. You could be a land protector. You could be an air protector. You can be, human, animal, all of it, no matter what, your duty is calling for you, but you can only reach to that once you understand who you are specifically, and vice versa. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, once you call to that duty, then you heal to yourself. Like I said, two sides of one coin. So.
Thank you for that transmission.
Yeah, it was coming in.
You're like, I'm losing my words. And I was like, I don't think so.
Yep. I feel in my body like being taken over here. So wait a minute.
So I have two more questions that came to mind, and they might be kind of brief. Tying back to what you were sharing a little bit in the beginning and why you're taking a pause and some inner child places that you're looking at. I'm curious. What I would love to hear actually is, what do you want that little one to know?
That like if I'm speaking to him myself, that I'm proud of him. That, like, I think about this often too. And usually when I'm in a meditative state or journeying or whatever, I'm with my younger self. So, but if I like physically, if I saw, 7-year-old me, 6-year-old me right now, I'll tell them that I'm proud, that all the things that you've been through throughout your journey, you were tough and you didn't turn out to be someone that mentally struggled in a way. That even though that there are still going to be some more hardships in the way, don't ever be discouraged. And even though that during that timeline, I never gave up on who I was, I would still tell him to never give up, because there are certain areas in my life where, teenage, things and kid things, you're starting to discover who you are, trying to impress people and stuff like that. And it's just like, go through that, but go through that wisely. Like, because it is very important for, children to discover themselves. So of course they're going to change stuff, but it's just like, go through that, but go through that as true as possible to yourself, and stuff, because there was a time where outside of all of this where I was just like, I don't know, the life seems better over there, so let me go over there and see how it is. And it's just like that wasn't, part of me, and so I mean, instantly I came running back to myself. But and another thing too is just I will thank him for always being with me, um because yeah, man, little me helped me through so much. Like, I just turned 30 in May, and people my age or older, I mean, I still watch Power Rangers, I still read comic books and, stuff like that.
Sure.
And, I'll collect Pokemon cards and all of this on my downtime and everything. And it's like that brings me joy, you know? And seeing a lot of people that are heavily disconnected with their inner child, and they're so depressed or sad or just robotic. And I'm like, I'm glad I never turned out like that. And I am thankful for my little me being here with me always, and I'm not ashamed of that, you know? So, and there's so much more. If he was here, like, physically, I would just give him a tight hug. I'm gonna let go. Bear hug to bear hug, little bear to big bear. So, but yeah, that's pretty much what I would, tell my younger self, and I'm getting emotional about that too, because it's like, I really wish that, he was physically here. Technically he is, he's just bigger now, but
Yeah. Oh, buddy. Yeah. For a place that I was tracking, you mentioned earlier, and I see this, and I experienced this too, when you look back on your childhood and there's a place where it's challenging to maybe go into the emotions that you feel for things that you didn't want to happen that happened, but also was like, well, it wasn't that bad. I wonder if you have any words for people that might be stuck on that point.
um take a breather. um just Things are always going to, on the surface, on paper, on the table, things are always going to seem bad, when things pop off. And chances are it could be bad, I mean, this is something I'm speaking on, something as like you got fired from work or something like that. I mean, of course, there's like death that happens, and, you got into a car accident, stuff like that. But even then, it is important to take a breather, sit back, and first of all, when you sit back, honor your emotions, honor what you are feeling. Do not shut them down, but it's important to be in balance with them. There's going to be times where your emotions take control. You don't want that to happen. And when it does happen, sit back, relax, breathe, do some breath work, quick deep breath in through the nose, exhale through the mouth, expanding that belly, feel those emotions coming in, channeling through you, balancing out. And once you are able to be in balance with that emotion, sit with what just happened. Sit with the situation. Rather, you just, lost your job, or, someone broke up with you, or whatever the situation may be. And truly think, is this something that is meant to happen for my highest good? Or was it, and this is going to sound bad, but this is for your personal development. Or is this, was this something that was dragging me? Was this the, great spirit here, eliminating something for something better to come in? Or, and just sit on it, and I'm not saying that it's going to be like a one and done situation, like I said, honor your emotions, don't, I guess the word is to, like, just sweep it under the rug once you're done with it. If it comes up, um, feel it. And that's one thing that I am doing right now, being back home, is that, for the longest time, I swept a lot of things under the rug that I thought that I dealt with. And when it came up, I just put it back under there. I told myself I can't do that. I can't do that anymore, because there's a reason why it's coming back up. And you can hear it in my voice. I'm still a little bit emotional about it. So, when something happens and you tell yourself that it's bad or it's not that bad, no matter what it is, sit with it, breathe, and integrate it, you know, and the proper, you have the tools. We all have the proper tools to navigate through whatever it is that we are going through. Otherwise, we wouldn't have got to that point, because life is a giant lesson, right? So if you've gotten to that point, it's going to teach you like, okay, you got this. Now, what are you going to do about it next? You can either go 10 steps back, or you can use the tools that you have, use your intuition, and move forward, you know? And so, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. I love, inviting folks to lean into the trust that they can navigate the situations that are actually arising. They can navigate the emotions that are coming up. They can navigate the memories, and they also can navigate any of the BS that's coming up.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Because that's the one thing. Have you ever read the Four Agreements
I actually
by Don
haven't.
Miguel Ruiz?
I'm
You
familiar
haven't?
with it. I know.
Okay. Okay. I know it's an extremely popular book. Everyone's talking about it. But if you haven't, I really recommend that you do read it, because um, Ruiz talks about this indigenous tribe called the Toltecs, and how they would sit with certain specific emotions or whatever like that, and they talk about like, once it's in your mind, there's this entity called a parasite, and so it's important to sit with your emotions. And but if that parasite gets to you, it's going to tell you all these negative things. It's going to try to make things worse. It's going to tell you that, oh my God, this is what happened. You don't have a job anymore. You're going to lose your house. You're going to lose this. You're going to lose that. Or your girlfriend broke up with you, or your boyfriend broke up with you. No one loves you. This and that. It's going to fill your mind with so much BS, right? And so the Toltecs understood. It's just like, well, you got to reverse that. Soon as something like that shows up into your mind, instantly reverse it. Look at yourself in the mirror, because when we look at ourselves in the mirror, most of the people, most definitely in today's society, will continue what the parasite is telling them in the mirror, right? Go look at yourself in the mirror and instantly reverse it. As soon as the parasite is telling you, oh, you're not loved, tell yourself, I am abundantly loved. You know, for the job, it's just like, oh, I lost this job. There's a better one coming for me instantly. I am not going to lose my house. I'm not going to lose this or whatever, just quick reverse no card. So.
Great. Thanks. So I lied. I do have one more question, or at least a request.
Yeah.
Share something about you that's silly.
Man, all right. So just one thing, because there's a whole list that goes on forever, Something about me that is silly is that, well, it's just me in general. I'm a giant goofball. Like, people, like, when they first meet me, of course, they always say, oh, you're a little bit intimidating. It's that bear energy or whatever. But it's just like, at the same time, within the same minute they say that, I'm over here doing a cartwheel, I'm over here just like, it's me, or I'm acting like a Power Ranger, or I would say something, as cheesy as some like random cheesy pickup line, or something like just for no reason. And it's like, I'm not trying to pick up a lady or something, but it's just, I'll just say it for no reason, just to make people laugh. And so it's just me. That's what's goofy. It's me. If my middle name was Goofy, it'll be it.
Grizzly bear and Goofy bear.
Yep, there you go. Goofy. Hey, I like that. Goofy bear. There you go.
See which one you're getting today. You probably flip back and forth between the two very quickly.
Yeah, I guess my alter ego is when I'm doing spiritual work, I'm the grizzly bear. When I'm just me, I'm the Goofy bear.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, Liwanu, Ryan Parker, thank you so much for joining me here and sharing your experience and wisdom and your dream in the world. I really appreciate your time.
And thank you so much for having me. I know we've been connected on social media for a while now. And what's funny, when you said something earlier, I was like, wait a minute, this is deja vu. So this is how I know that this is meant to meant to happen. And I'm glad that it did, because I've been wanting to connect with you for a while now. And it's just so much that has happened within my own personal journey and all scheduling and stuff like that. And so when you reached out and said that you wanted to be a part of this, I was like, I can't say no, because I've been wanting to do this for a while. And I truly thank you. Thank you so much for me.
Received. Thank you. Beautiful. Well, if any of you want to get in touch with Liwanu, I will be sharing his information in the show notes and his links, so you can find him there and reach out to him from there. Again, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Bye-bye for now. Have you been hearing the call to expand your spiritual gifts and step into your next level of conscious leadership? If you're a coach, healer, or a spiritual leader, you can learn more about Shaman School and growing your spiritual business on our website, holtonhealingarts.com, or send me a DM at Holton Healing Arts. Welcome to today's Member Query episode, where we explore questions about spiritual paths, intuitive gifts, growing a spiritual business, and shamanism. Do you have a question for us? Send us a DM at Holton Healing Arts. This question is from one of our Leading with Spirit Facebook group members. And the question is, how do I feel confident talking about shamanism and the shamanic path with people that have questions? And the best way to do this is by giving examples from your direct experience. One of the issues with shamanism that makes it hard to understand or explain to people is that it is so broad. Shamanism is really all about connecting with all of life. And so what your experiences are can really vary greatly from one person to the other. And although there's sort of a general understanding of what this means and how it might help you or work through life, the best way to feel confident explaining it to others is explaining it again from your own direct experience of how it came in, how it's shown up in your life, and how it's helped you with specific things. And if they have more questions, maybe even going into what that looked like, what that process looked like, versus trying to answer it from, a place from the intellect or from a textbook definition of what it is. Because when we define things in that way, it really closes off the immensity of the meaning behind it. And it also closes off the opportunity for real connection, making it more about like facts and figures versus about like, this is what it's done for me. I wonder what it can do for you. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Leading with Spirit. If you did, please share the link for this episode with your biggest takeaway, tagging me at Holton Healing Arts. It would also support me if you subscribed and left a rating and review of the show so we can support more people living their highest purpose. Until next time, journey on.